Hi, Sylvia. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I think some people have trouble logging in because they forgot that they have to put in the password pack.
They will
Yeah, Suli
go
just
back to their
called.
invite.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. So she's calling me again. I want to see if anybody has trouble logging in. I see a lot of people trying to log in, and I've been trying to admit them all. We'll give a couple minutes for the logistics. Okay. June. Hi, Eddie. How are you?
How are you?
Okay, you seem a little bit quiet there. Let me make
Tell me,
sure.
how about now?
A little bit better. Can you try
Okay,
again?
How about now?
It's better. Yes, I think we
good.
needed that. Okay,
All right.
good. Good to see you here, Eddie.
Good to see you as well.
I
Thank you
have
so
one
much for
more.
having me.
Yes, I have one more speaker. So let me make sure she can log in. It's 7:59, so we still have one more minute. So let's see how many people. We have 39 people so far, pretty good. I'm sure people continue to log in. How's your week so far?
My
Eddie.
week?
Yeah.
Well, I have 3 children under 5, so every week is a different adventure. Yeah, this week has been very good though. With it's AP week for everybody, so
It
it's
is.
been kind of
Yeah.
quiet. But yeah, but we've had a lot of T-ball games, so that's been taking up a lot of time as well.
Understand. Same
Yeah.
here. I think
Yeah.
a lot of parents in this seminar has the same situation.
Yeah, especially around here, everybody runs into the same things at the same times, it seems.
Yep. Let me see. Shuba, I'm going to give it one more minute just so that we can have more people. Now we increased from 39 people to 59, 60. So we have a lot of people. So I'll just give it one more minute so that people can allow for people to join.
Sylvia, I only see 24 participants. Are they in the waiting room and you need to let them in?
Let me see.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
right
you.
now I see people coming in. This is
Yes.
wonderful.
Yeah, I need to keep clicking. When I set it up, I think I released that restriction, but apparently I didn't.
That's
So,
okay. It's
yeah,
great to
that's
see
okay. Exactly.
It's a wonderful audience. Welcome everyone. And thank you, Sylvia, for organizing this. We will just maybe since it's 8 o'clock, we should get started. What do you think?
I will give 30 more seconds for the second speaker
Okay.
to join in, okay?
All right, 30 more seconds. We're waiting.
Hello, hi.
Hi, June. All right.
Yeah, maybe you guys talk first. I can join later because I was a little bit late. Still eating a little bit thing. I was busy today. Do you want to let her talk first or I talk
think
later?
that I will start at the same time. And at first, I will introduce Shuba, and then I'll give Eddie 5 minutes to talk generally about his philosophy with regards to high schoolers, college application, and how to plan summer, etc. Just a general talk. And then June, you will have another 5 minutes as well. So I guess you join us back in about maybe 5-6 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I just waiting. Yeah, I just block, then I can turn on my video later.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Okay, so let's get started. First of all, welcome everyone. You are in the seminar, How to Plan a Meaningful Summer, especially for high schoolers. So if this is not what you were expecting to hear, then you're in the wrong place. Otherwise, please stay on. First of all, I would like to introduce to you Shuba. Dr. Shuba is also the chair for Parents Advocacy Committee within Mission San Jose High School. I think today a lot of parents come from the Mission San Jose High School, and then some maybe from Irvington and other high schools. So pretty much a lot of them are in Fremont. A lot of you have participated in my other seminar before as well, so welcome back. First of all, I would like to have Shuba to give a very brief introduction to PAC. Your login ID is PAC. PAC stands for Parents Advocacy Committee. So Shuba, you are on.
Thank you, Sylvia, and welcome everyone. It's amazing to see this large turnout at this late hour. So clearly people are excited to hear from our speakers. As Sylvia said, I've been chairing the Parent Advocacy Committee of the Mission San Jose High School Parent Faculty Association. So our group, our committee really focuses on facilitating communication between the school, teachers, and our parent community so that we can all work together to support our most important assets, our children. And it has been a committee that I've chaired since it was formed, and it's 2 years old, and we've had great success with helping parents learn how to communicate with teachers and schools constructively, as well as helping to resolve, issues that may come up that can be facilitated by parent brokers like ourselves. So in the spirit of what we want to do, we thought that having a seminar where we can share our own experiences, invite experts, and offer information to the community would be right up our alley. And so Sylvia had this idea, and we're excited to get started today. So over to you, Sylvia. Thank you for this seminar, and I look forward to hearing from the speakers.
Thank you, Shuba. So tonight, the agenda goes like this. First, we have Eddie Lemaire to give his thoughts on general philosophy about how to help high schoolers to enrich their summer life, also maybe to prepare for college. Then we'll have another speaker, Jun Lu. After the general introduction, then we have a set of questions, and we'll take turn to ask each speaker for their advice. At the end of it, we'll save 20 minutes for parents to ask questions, and Shuba will help queue up the questions towards the end of the session. Okay, with that, let me introduce you, Eddie Lemaire. So Eddie, you're on.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay now? Good?
Yes.
All right,
Good.
wonderful. Thank you very much, Sylvia. Thank you so much, Shuba. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming on an evening. I'll try and be entertaining. My name is Eddie. I've been doing college admissions work since 1999, since Bill Clinton was president. I started off in private college admissions, moved to UC San Diego in 2002, and I've been working in the Silicon Valley in educational consulting since 2006. But that's not very interesting. The one of the I like the topic for this presentation because it's timely, and it's also something that allows for a lot of other things, other points of discussion. And the first one that I was going to come up with, or that Sylvia asked for, was a general philosophy on working with students, working with their personal profiles, activities, summers, to develop something really constructive, and to give a philosophy on that. With my general philosophy is the number one thing is always the student's physical and mental health. And after that is the transcript. And if anything gets in the way of either of those, it should be cut out to a certain extent, because those are just so important. Obviously, the mental health, particularly in our area, and the transcript is so significant. But during the summer, thankfully, the transcript is not that much of an issue. However, extracurricular activities and developing personal preferences and developing fields of interest, that kind of goes on all year. So I'll speak about my just a general philosophy of that. I think it kind of goes year to year, that students can you have to meet students where they are, and there's only so much that can kind of be expected of them. And I'd say, generally speaking, for ninth graders, for freshmen, you want exposure. You want exploration. The best phrase is shop and drop. Pick up a bunch of stuff, throw it against the wall, see what sticks. If you like it, continue doing it. If you don't like it, then leave it alone. And the best way to do this, as pedestrian and everyday as it might sound, is through usually club week, and to get exposed to different clubs throughout the year, so students can get an idea of what's out there and what they might have an interest in. But ninth, really for exploration. In the middle of 10th, in my opinion, is when students need to get maybe a little bit of a clearer idea of what major they want to apply to college under. Not necessarily like what field they want to retire from at age 65 or like 90 these days, but not that idea of what field you want to do for the rest of your life, but generally what angle you want to take for college applications. If you can do that in the middle of 10th, then it gives you summer after 10th and summer after 11th to really develop that interest and to go a little bit deeper into it. So middle of 10th, get a clearer idea of what general field you might want to major in, apply to summer programs, which we're going to be talking about a little bit more for summer after 10th, and then build on those throughout 11th and then the summer after 11th. Obviously, with anything with this, we want parents and people in education want students to develop different parts of themselves throughout this. So this is when we're talking about building an extracurricular profile, and it's more than just figuring out the field of study. Obviously, it's about building a lot of different parts of who you are. And as far as building that profile, my kind of weird image has always been be well-rounded with pointy parts. Be exposed to different things throughout the time in high school. In addition to the academic interests, you want to have arts, you want to have volunteering, you want to have leadership, you want to have music. Sports are obviously always going to be helpful, but there should be one or two parts of the student's profile that stands out, that they can that they can really develop in the application, that they can use to answer the college application questions. Why do you want to study what you say you want to study? So throughout high school, building from one year to the next, exposure, then getting a little bit more focused, while at the same time maintaining kind of a well-rounded complexion, while really getting a refined academic focus to look focused on the college applications. Now, like I said, a lot of this is really for the applications. This is not necessarily going to be the field that the student retires from. And a lot of students don't know exactly what, they don't even know exactly what major they're going to stay in when they even apply. I mean, across the country, the cited statistic is that students change their major. 80% of students change their major at least once, and it's something like 53% of students change their major like 3 times. So a lot of students don't know what they want. And really, in my experience, by the time students get to high school, there are 2 kids that really have figured out exactly what they want. The students that used to take apart the remote control and put it back together, the engineers, and students that oftentimes grow up in a health science family that right around middle school realize they want to go into health sciences. The majority of other students in high school are trying to figure it out, and they're going to perhaps continue that into college. So, at least on my end, and I would say probably on most educators' ends, you want to give, you want to focus the students, you want to guide the students, but ultimately you want to have them wind up in a place in a college that's going to give them the flexibility to find out what they're really committed to or interested in. So to wrap up, progression from one year to the next. Develop a focus from one year to the next, middle of 10th grade, maybe get a little bit more of a focus. Try and maintain a well-rounded profile with some pointy parts. But at the end of the day, don't feel despondent if you don't know exactly, what you want to do with your life. This is something where it does develop throughout high school, obviously, and undergrad, and most students haven't figured that out entirely. So thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Great. So it sounds like your focus is that for each grade, there should be certain focus. Starting from grade 9, you can explore everything, see what it sticks, what the passion lies. But then after 10th grade, you want to have a little bit more focus. In 11th grade, maybe even depending on what kind of schools and college you want to apply to, maybe even have more development in that particular area. Did I kind of sum it up right?
Perfectly. You said in 20 seconds what I was trying to say in 10 minutes.
Great. So thank you very much, Eddie. And June, I would like to also get your general philosophy. I know June has a lot of experience in education, including international schools and Montessori schools. So very experienced in children development. So June, you are on. Let me make sure I get. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I was eating a little bit. Today's a
I
busy
know it's
day.
a busy day. Yeah, you run 4 schools. Okay. All right, so you are on.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I have a guest today, so a little bit odd. Myself, I was working with the school. I own preschool. I have preschool and high school. So for kids, I think preschool is important for younger one to have a behavior. We have a Montessori school. Then I set up school in China also. So international school for high school. So for high schooler, I think today topic is most like high schooler for summer camp, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So every year we have so many students from China school to US, and I've been doing that since 2007. So we have a lot of experience from that side. And I found it's very useful when they're younger to attend a good school summer camp, can really build up the confidence. So I think sometimes the student doesn't confident enough to apply. So what we did is from 9th grade or 10th grade, we start to apply good school like Berkeley. I have a good relationship with them. I built up over the years. So we are, helping them to apply online for summer school. We're not summer camp, actually. It's a school session. It's just like a freshman class. So they have to be make sure the student are good on certain, you know, class major and stuff. That's the way to build up them. I think it's important on the confidence side. That's why maybe later on we can talk about detail. Yeah, that's
Okay,
mhm.
great. Okay, thank you, June. So I know that there are still quite some people trying to get into. So I'm going to ask Shuba to help queue up the next question so that I can try to admit more people. Shuba, can you help me queue up the next question?
Give me 1 second while I pull up our prepared
No
questions.
problem. Actually, let me ask the first question and you can help me with the second
That
question.
would be
How's
great.
that? Awesome. All right. So our first question is, how important do you think a child's summer activities are in their high school years? We know that Fremont City offers a lot of summer camps for kids from 5 years old, but then it stops kind of at the age of 12 and 13. And also because after a kid reaches 13, they don't want to be in the middle of a bunch of smaller kids, right? So kind of hard for them to attend the Fremont City camps. But the question is, do you think summer activities are still important for high schoolers? Eddie, you want to go first?
Sure, definitely. With the yeah, I think they're very important. They're important for exploration as well as for the college admission stuff. I mean, just knowing the Fremont schools, most students don't have time when they're in high school. I mean, even like, you know, with 7th and 8th graders, there's not a lot of time in the day when it comes to the academic year. You need the summers in order to pursue interests, to be a teenager and to be normal and to do social things, but also to explore academically what you want to get into. And like I said before, to refine the focus a little bit as well. You know, it's just with, you know, students are carrying, you know, 6 and 7 academic periods. When you get into to 10th, you're taking advanced level courses. There's tons of work that students have to put in. So yeah, the only time that there is really left to do it is for the is over the summer. You did say something interesting though with the with there's a very strange kind of like a limbo land with a lot of grade levels with when students start getting to 13, 14 years old, there aren't as many opportunities through city programs, and when they get into 14, maybe 15 years old, there aren't as many opportunities with academic summer programs either. You know, there aren't a lot for rising 10th graders, for instance, but as students reach 16 years old, 15 years old in some cases, the programs become more popular. But yeah, definitely the summer is the one time that the students are going to have to explore and
Great.
refine the focus.
Great. So June, do you have anything to add? If not, we'll go to the second question.
I actually, this is a great time to bring up a question that came up in chat, which is related to this, and that is, do you have some suggestions on where parents can go to find resources for summer programs because of, you know, the limited availability?
Sure. I mean, well, Sylvia, I'm so sorry for jumping in. I thought that was something that maybe for the college things, but for city type programs, that might be a question as well for that. Pardon me for jumping in.
No problem at all.
Was that more for city programs or for like academic type programs?
I think we have the door wide open. It could be either.
Okay, all right. With academic summer programs, there are a lot of different places to look, but most of them are kind of cluttered. Stanford has a program called it's OSO, Office of Science Outreach, where they've got a list of the dozens of different science outreach programs they have, and MIT on their page also has a list of summer programs. Otherwise, it's really being resourceful, and I think the best there's like the Reddit. There's subreddits that are that's like there's one that's summer program results. Another one is like interesting ECs, interesting extracurricular activities, where high school students are on and giving illustrations of these things that they've gotten involved in. Reddit, College Confidential. Every once in a while, you'll be able to ask a question to to Google and get some kind of a good answer. But more often than not, it's just scattered all over the place. And another issue is programs will open and close very quickly. Over the pandemic, a lot of programs shut down, especially arts programs, life science programs that needed wet labs and stuff like that. And a lot of online programs like Inspirit AI, one of the an online artificial intelligence program that just got immensely more popular. So yeah, a lot of ebbing and flowing with the summer programs, but it's hard to find. And even if you found some of them, some lists out there, I mean, they've got programs that are like, like $12,500 for doing something in like a class that you could take a loan. Well, I'm not going to get into it, but in any case, lots of different places to find stuff.
Thank you. I think we can move on to the next question. Sylvia, you got it.
Okay, so I think the second question is kind of a little bit similar to the last one. There are fewer options for older kids when it comes to summer camps. So how can families and parents handle this? What suggestions do you have? I think Eddie mentioned some resources. If you know some particular suggestion for the high schoolers to make their time useful and not just be on the phone or social media or games, what do you suggest?
Okay, so options for making the summer useful, and go ahead and do you options for making the summer useful, just not being on the phone. Right. Okay. Camps, obviously, if those aren't available, then for younger students, meaning 7th, 8th, 9th graders, volunteering. There's usually low-level volunteering. That's an option for students that are 14 years old in some cases. Online volunteering, there are a lot of opportunities to do it. There are things like citizen science programs, an organization called Stall Catchers, another one called Open Philo, which has these kind of crowdsourced science research projects that are also kind of these volunteering programs. The Smithsonian and Library of Congress have transcription opportunities online. Those don't really have an age level. Certificate courses from like Udemy and Udacity, Coursera, if students want to get exposed to something that doesn't take a lot of time, but it's kind of interesting and niche, anything from cooking to video game design, those are on there, and you can usually finish one of the courses within the free trial period. With younger students like 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and in that area, they're usually restricted on residential camps, really selective summer programs, and jobs, but usually everything else is kind of open.
Awesome, thank you. So I hope that parents are making notes. I know Eddie kind of talks very fast. I sometimes find myself, I have to catch up to him. So I hope that parents are able to make some notes. Can you repeat a couple of the websites that you just mentioned? I remember Smithsonian and there are a few others.
Yeah, first of all, let me give, this is the, I'm just gonna put this in chat. This is the Stanford Office of Science STEM outreach for some of their summer programs. With some of the other ones, why don't you keep going on and I'll keep posting the resource, because this is what a lot of this discussion is going to be, these types of resources. So I'll go through and I'll come on and I'll post a bunch of these.
Awesome.
If that's okay with you.
Okay, no problem, no problem. All right, June, I know you are joining back in. Do you have something to add for our last questions? Resources.
Yeah, I think I just familiar with Berkeley. I'm particularly sending a lot of students over there. So Berkeley every year at February, so you go to the website, you apply. Normally it's 6 to 8 weeks. So I suggest only one course when you're younger, like 10th grade, maybe 9, 10, start to looking. Make sure you get an A. If you're not really good, don't take. So then, it's accumulation of courses. That's my suggestion, very, very useful. 6 to 8 weeks every day. if a computer class, there's really heavy duty, they have a lab, they have a discussion. If you only have a one class, even your whole day from 7 o'clock, you have to take a barge to go there. Then at night you come back, even midnight sometime, my son, because of the discussion on the project can be very heavy, but it's very, very useful for them. So I think if they are in Bay Area, because I live in Fremont, so it's good to go Berkeley. It's not too far. You get the barge. Only one course. That's my experience. I think is workable.
Okay, so June's suggestion is if the kid knows what their passion is, knows what the subjects they want to focus on or even try in college, you suggest to take 1 or 2, no more than 2 college courses.
Yeah.
During summertime, but your suggestion is you better take the class where you can get an A. If you think you're going to get an B, you better not prove them wrong, right? You want to make sure that you get an A so you can show the flying colors to the admission officer, right? Awesome,
Yep.
Very good. Great, thank you for the suggestion.
No problem.
All right, so let me move on to the next question. And again, just a reminder, we will collect questions towards the end of this. So if you have questions that's not already answered by Eddie and June, feel free to raise your hand towards the end of the program. So the third question is, hey, we are parents, we all want our kids to succeed. What advice would you give parents about summer employment for high schoolers? We're talking about not just studying, now working. What's your suggestion? Who wants to take the question first? Okay, Eddie, you go again.
Okay, with I think that summer employment is very good for exposure, for life experience, and it's a good and for a good story for the applications. With I wouldn't do it necessarily for prestige. I think doing a job at Taco Bell or doing a job at retail is far better than doing something at Oracle, presuming that it's not like high-level programming or something like that. If you're just doing like office work and you're doing it for the rubber stamp of the location, at least for college stuff, that doesn't help so much. What does help with college stuff more than anything else are the stories. This past year we had very good Chipotle stories where a couple of students had worked over the summer at Chipotle and had great reflective essays on them. We have a student this year at Aragon High School in San Mateo who's working 12 hours a week at Starbucks, and he's doing it because he wants to get exposed to running an efficient business. I've always said that working a month at Taco Bell will teaches you more about customer service and probably human beings than a semester at Wharton. So I think that that's good to develop people skills. It's good to develop social skills. It's good to develop life skills. But again, I think that not that you want to like do it for this very reason, but the grittier the job, the better the stories that tend to come out. And there's another college, one of the big college consultants nationally for like the past 30 years is this woman, Michelle Hernandez, who said that when she was in admissions at Dartmouth, she'd always look down on the students that didn't have a summer job because they felt like she felt like things had been handed to them. Whenever I was in admissions, I never felt that way at all. I thought, if you're gonna, you gotta focus on academics when you're in high school. What can you do? But it is something that adds some complexity to the mixture, and you do. When you're working a job in like food service or retail, you can get some really neat reflective elements in the application, and you get a lot more life experience, I think.
Okay, it's encouraging to know because my daughter asked me, hey, Mom, should I work at Starbucks? I was like, no, you want to work at, a marketing assistant or something else. But that's a very interesting perspective. Yeah. It's a real life experience. You are in a bunch of, adults, and you have to really take responsibility in such an environment. And also, hey, how to handle customer service. You said it well. Thank you, Eddie. How about June? Do you have anything to add? Like parents, how do you think parents should encourage high schoolers to get any kind of jobs?
High school, yes, I think a high schooler, if they can experience some work, real work, that'll be great, because it's like the speaker said, you know, will be very helpful, I think. I
So
agree with.
June, you have several schools, and I know you're big on education. Do you hire summer internships?
Yes, we really welcome.
Okay,
I can
so
post
parents-
my school, yeah, with you. So if they, actually every year we do have a high school coming in. We sign up because we're our school at Palado and the Milpitas, San Jose. The Palado one especially has, I think we connect with local high school all the time. So yeah, I apply, you know, send to you guys. And if anybody interested in education, it's very welcome.
Okay, so can you give us a little bit more idea about the kind of summer internship that you might have?
Because summer is a good time to do the internship. And our school is a preschool, and our teacher, a lot of summertime, the vacation. So we do need intern, but we train them. But a lot of time they don't know what to do, you know, they're like sitting there because they're young. So rarely we get a good kids to really take care of the kids. But we'll train them. They can feel, oh, I have to take care of other people. You know, I have to take care of the younger one, the you know, the little one. So it's giving them like not only me. You know, I have to take care of others. So I think that's really teach them a lot.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
responsibility and leadership. Awesome. I know, Eddie, you also
Yeah.
have you know, think about, you know, kids developing leadership skills. So work is certainly one way to do so.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, leadership is huge, and work is a job is definitely a way to show it, especially if you're managing other people.
Can you guys give some examples of summer activities that had a significant impact on a high school's career choice? I mean, like maybe to give one or two examples of something that happened to one of your students because of the summer activity that student took. It actually had a good impact or significant help to their career choice or to their college admission.
I'll start. Okay, with the I'll give two that I think are very good. There was one from a very long time ago, probably 2009, where it was a student from Saratoga who wound up working in a publishing house, a real prestigious one, City Lights bookstore and publishing house in San Francisco, which was really instrumental in like 1950s literature type stuff. And she ultimately wound up matriculating to Dartmouth and going into the publishing industry thereafter. More recently, I've had a student, and he's probably among 15 students that have gone to this program that's run out of De Anza College. It's called APALI, the Asian Pacific American Leadership Institute. And it's a program that's intended to develop grassroots political organization and leadership skills in local Asian American youth. And it's a fabulous program. Like I said, it's a combination of a class, a leadership an outreach program, an advocacy program, and a leadership program. It's like free or close to that. And anyone who's anyone in local politics has some kind of connection to it. And I had a student a couple of years ago that went through, he did the summer program called Cosmos, where he did something in math and data science. And then he went through APALI, and it really kind of radicalized him and turned him into an advocate. And he started working for an organization called Stop AAPI Hate, doing mathematical modeling of hate crimes. And both the summer programs, Cosmos, along with the APALI program, wound up, I think, kind of mixing and catalyzing that interest. So yeah, that was really cool.
Wow, that's really great. I didn't know that there are so many other opportunities to gain summer activities or projects That's truly great. Can you tell us again the several organizations that you just mentioned? I remember you mentioned something like Asian Pacific Party, and there
I
are a
just
couple
chatted it
others.
in there. Yeah, this is and they actually have their summer program. Their summer program is about to close on May 15th. So
May
and
15.
yeah, so it's a great I mean, the application is about to, I mean, in full disclosure, there's a youth program and there's an adult program. And I did the adult program back in 2011, and it was just life-changing. And the youth program, I think, is just as good. But May 15th is the priority deadline. That's the, oh, how interesting. You can't open the link. Well, you should be able to open the link. I took it right from the interwebs. But yeah, I just clicked on it and it opens fine. Maybe the YLA at the end might have to go on. But yeah, great program. Check it out. And I think it's free or close to free, which is nice.
Awesome. All right. So I'm just moving on. Our next question, some people want to know, hey, what are some of the guiding principles that you consider when planning summer for our high schooler? Can you do too much in summer and burn out your child? Because, you know, especially kids in Fremont, you know, or missions, I was saying, particularly, kids are already very stressed. They are, you know, have a lot of demand on them, homework, projects, extracurricular activities. Shouldn't they just relax in summer? Will it be ever too much pressure for the kids to take on? Or what do you think? June, do you have anything to add? Or Eddie, I'm not able to hear you.
Oh, okay, sure. No, definitely. I mean, I can always talk. I think that, you know, everybody has different capacities. You know, this is there are some students that can juggle 10 things over the summer, have a job, have an online business, take college classes, do summer programs, do research, teach swimming lessons and lifeguard, and, you know, that keep adding stuff and they're fine. And other kids just get like overwhelmed with a week-long certificate course. So it's all about, you know, capacity. But I mean, my little rule of thumb is the rule of 3, where you try and have maybe 3 significant academic things that you're doing over the summer. So a short summer program, a college class, and some kind of test prep. That seems to be a number that students can juggle. It allows enough development for the interest in the profile. It allows kind of space if you want to have like real human stuff in there that teenagers like social stuff or going to the beach. You know, but that rule of 3, I think it's good. Especially, I mean, because you can, it gives you enough, again, opportunity to extend yourself and expose yourself to different things, but it also gives you the opportunity to develop an interest. So, you know,
so you said the rule of 3, not more than 3, not to burn them out.
Yeah, not to burn them out.
That's awesome. Okay, June. Sorry, June, is I know it's kind of a late evening. You had a long day.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, today I went to Roseville. I'm at the hotel right now.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
something-
Yes, thank you for joining us. Mhm.
No problem. Yeah. So what's the question?
The question is, do you think putting another summer activity or summer job on the child would be too much stress, too much pressure, or should the high schooler just relax during summertime and take time off and recruit? What do you think?
I have all kind of students. Some students take the challenge, they like it. You know, it has to depend on the kids. So if they want it, that's great. But some kids think too much, that's normal too, because it's so intimidating, you know. And
That's very true.
then some of my students, like a very happy personality, they said, you know, I just go college and then I transfer. I don't need to take SAT. I don't need to take anything. So Mission San Jose has a really great program from the 12th grade. You don't need it in Mission San Jose. You can go to Ohlone College or whatever college. Ohlone College, yeah, because they have the contract with Mission San Jose. And you don't need, you can, 11th grade, you go to the seminar saying your grade. So you don't need all the time at high school. You can half day high school, half day in college. Then you can take courses right away. And then you avoid SAT, you avoid all the AP, you avoid everything. Then you have enough time to take your major. You can choose 2 major or some, relax a minor. Because my kids doing that, my son, my daughter, they all went to Berkeley. My daughter is the one saying, I don't want to take SAT. I just want to relax. Her major is art education. So she's the one doesn't want to take any challenge. I'm okay with it, but my son is the one, 9th grade, to go to Berkeley. So he take the challenge a lot. So 2 different types. Both is fine for me.
Okay, so from what I hear from June is that it depends on the children. Some children might want to be more relaxed, or they are not ready to choose a major yet. Going to junior college may be an option, and during those 2 years is less expensive, and you can also take more classes and have time figure out your major, then you apply. And I think June mentioned in a different seminar that the junior college in the UC has about 21% space allowed for the junior college to transfer. I don't know if that's still true. I'm not sure if any of you can chime in. So basically UC or State University have certain percentage to allow the junior college to transfer. So sometimes it may be a bit easier. I'm not sure if it's still the case. It's okay. So let's move on to the next questions.
I have an experience I can explain you. My older daughter was in Merced. She completed most of the courses. She's in junior this year in college. She completed most of the courses because one good thing about Mission is their rigor is up actually. They whenever and wherever colleges they go into, they cannot stop themselves. They work really hard, and the confidence builds, and they'll ace every place. That is what I'm seeing with my daughter. Like she completed most of the courses in Merced, and whole of them, almost of her friends applied for all the colleges whichever they were aiming for as in dream college and so on. So my daughter applied for UC San Diego, and she got an actually, and now she's in San Diego. And a couple of her friends applied for San Diego, they got in, and one friend from Chabot College, who he was going to, yeah, he was he also got into UC San Diego. That is what my experience is. It's not the end of the world. It's not end of the world if you don't get it. That's it.
Thanks for sharing your perspective. So that definitely there is an alternative route. So I see a couple of questions. I think it's relevant to bring up here. I think Sheena Raju had a question, not specifically for summer, but it's more of a college admission question, especially with SAT not applying to UCs. Now UC is test blind, right? SAT blind. They
Correct.
don't look at it at all. So how do admission officers sit through thousands or tens of thousands of applications and make a decision without SAT?
Well, UC has 13 criteria that they use. They used to have 14 criteria before the SAT, but now there are 13. The primary weight for UC, and let me give you the link for those. The primary weight is for GPA and for course rigor. That's a massive factor. The transcript always dominates everything with UC. The UC GPA, which is somewhere before 10th or somewhere after 11th, is really what tips students in one direction or another. Nevertheless, there are an additional 12 factors. And at least when I was with UC San Diego, we would give weight to everything from, my first week I got an application during my first season where it was a girl wrote an essay about an injury, a humpback that she had. She ended with that question was, how do I gauge this? And how do I score it? And I was told to give 200 extra points because of disability for this thing that she described. single parent home, first gen college, low income, underrepresented area. I think underrepresented area played a big role this past year, where if you're going to, Brawley High School in Calexico, you're going to stand a little bit, you're going to be coming from a much more underrepresented area than obviously the Silicon Valley. But outside of factors like that, demographic factors, the activities do play a very large role. At least when I was with UC, you could have perfect grades, perfect test score, but without without leadership, educational preparation programs, volunteering, awards and activities, and other things like talents, you wouldn't be able to get over the point threshold that we had. Back then, we were on a point system. So perfect grades, perfect test scores, not enough. You still needed the other stuff to get in. With the test scores also, UC always had a very antagonistic relationship with College Board and with tests. So tests were always a little bit more weighted, a little bit lower than other factors. So it seems like it would be a massive change, but it's not that much. And there's more than enough other factors to reflect on that for UC admissions officers. So yeah, a little history there.
Great. So even if SAT is no longer the 14th criteria, you still have to meet and do well in the other 13 criteria.
Exactly.
All right. Good to know. I also want to share a little story for a neighbor across the street who goes to Mission as well. He's a very active kid, energetic kid, but he only got, I said, only 3.7 GPA. He's got denied by UC Berkeley and UCLA, but he got admitted to Purdue Computer Science, which is the number 5 in US News ranking. So see, UC is not the only route. All right. So I have another question from the parents. What is your opinion on paid college summer programs from the perspective of college admissions? So let me clarify. The paid college summer program here, what we're talking about is, for example, like Cornell has a big one, right? All the big schools have summer college programs. What's your thoughts on that? It doesn't matter whether June or Eddie wants to go first.
Okay. The generally speaking, the more there's an inverse relationship between the cost and the selectivity. If there's a program that's free where you're getting a stipend, for instance, RSI, Research Science Institute, that's affiliated with MIT and Harvard, Gene Camp through NASA, the Clark Scholars Program, where it's a summer research program and you're doing high level publishable research. These programs are all free and all come with stipends, and they admit it like 2%. And then you'll have other programs that are, summer college type programs where they really are on to generate revenue and keep the lights on over the summer. And then there's a lot of programs in the middle. There are some very good programs that you do have to pay for. Like there's a program at UC Santa Barbara, RMP, Cosmos, you still have to pay for it. It's heavily subsidized, but you have to pay for it. There's some very good programs at Penn, at Stanford, at Chicago. Those I would say are like the top tier of the paid programs. And then you have a lot of stuff where, again, it's like I hate to keep bringing it up, but there's a program at Columbia where it's $12,500 for like a 4-week class that you could literally take for nothing at Ohlone or De Anza. And it comes with room and board, and you get to live in New York and stuff like that. But the cost is just reprehensible, and it's not going to move the needle on admissions. It maybe helps a bit with Columbia, but as far as like level of prestige, it's not going to do that much. With the summer programs, one of the big things is going to be even with the paid ones at like the Stanford, the Chicago, the Penn type programs. A big thing is going to be the takeaway. What does the student get out of it? What is the student? How are they refining their interests a little bit more? How are they going to come away with a better understanding of whatever subject they go into? So different levels of programs. The more selective ones you don't have to pay for, or the ones you don't have to pay for tend to be much more selective. There are a lot that are good that you do have to pay for. Unfortunately, also for kids that do life sciences and mechanical engineering and a lot of arts, it's, you kind of sometimes need to do summer type stuff, and you need to do it on like a college campus. You need lab space. So yeah, it's unfortunately, but a lot of good ones out there.
Okay, so I think that answered these parents' question. It sounds like the more selective the program is, the more useful it might tip the needle a little bit. It doesn't mean that the more expensive program are the more prestigious. So you have to apply. And I know as a matter of fact that Stanford has a lot of programs out there. They are expensive. You still have to pay, and they're also very selective. Usually the admission opens in February, but if you wait till February, pretty much you're out. I think it starts in January, sorry, not February, January. Yeah, so UCLA has great programs, starts in January. The earlier you apply, the higher the chance you can get in. All right, so I have a very similar question, but seems like the parents are have kids. The parents have kids who are not STEM focused. I know Mission San Jose is very much STEM focused, one of the best programs, right? But there are a lot of kids who don't like technology and computer science. What do they do? What kind of programs can they join or apply to?
Okay, well, with the depending on the level and how selective you'd want it to be, there's if you're just looking for summer programs and you're looking for the ones that are the real fancy ones, the one that's the standard bearer is a program that's called TASP, the Telluride Scholars Program. That's been around since like the 1950s, and it's produced some real scholars. And that's like as I mentioned, there's a STEM program called RSI that's run through MIT. That's the standard bearer for STEM stuff. The standard bearer for humanities stuff is TASP. So there's TASP if the student wants to do general kind of humanities type stuff. If you want something that's a little bit more focused on like creative writing, there's the Iowa Young Writers Studio. That's probably the best summer writing program out there, in addition to a program that's run through Kenyon. There's also I just remembered this. There's also this thing that I've been finding lately, the San Jose Area Writing Project. They've got these really inexpensive writing workshops. I think it's run through San Jose State. I just sent the link. That's really good. I haven't had any, or it looks really good. I haven't had anybody do it, but how bad can it be? It's almost nothing, and it's close, and it's, you know, you're doing writing workshop type stuff. So that would be good. But in addition to that, there's stuff like APALI, the Asian Pacific American Leadership Institute. There's we have 2 students that are working on the Fremont Youth Advisory Council right now. That's a great leadership program where you can do civic involvement type stuff, where it's a public board that high school students can sit on, where they're an intermediary between the teens in a community and the city council. So Youth Advisory Council, let me send the link for that. That's really good too. But yeah, tons of stuff out there to do. It's just a matter of being a little bit resourceful. And I'll shut up now. Sorry, June, go ahead, please.
No, this is all good. Thank you for sharing the links as well. I am sure parents, and I know, thank you, Rupa, for making the notes. So for those parents who couldn't make the fast notes, don't worry too much. We have one member from PAC, Parents Advocacy Committee in Mission San Jose. She's making notes, and after the end of the meeting, I promise I'll try to send it to you guys if you join my group later on, okay? So now, June, we were just asking for, hey, for those kids who don't like computer science or math, not engineering focused, not STEM, what do they do? What kind of summer programs can they apply? What kind of activities can they do to still make good use of the time? June.
Yeah, I think what his name, Jack, or he's saying is very good. Your previous speaker, you know, I don't want to interrupt him. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But he did a good job. Eddie, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You did a good job. I listening. Then I
think that you're doing a good job, and I think you're doing great.
I think. I think, yeah, he mentioned a lot of resources.
Great. Okay, so well, I want to also ask a question regarding it's quite the opposite. What should you avoid doing with your high schoolers in summer? We talk a lot about, hey, what you should do. Is there something that you shouldn't ask your kids to do in summer?
Boy. I think that you hit on it earlier, overloading them. It really is something that with the climate around here, it is so stressful during the school year. You know, you always it's terrible to talk about it, but it's been going on for 20 years in the Bay Area. It's been going on since the early 2000s. It's been happening in Palo Alto forever. My brother-in-law is a cop in Palo Alto, and I hear about it every weekend. It's just students get so stressed out that they and it's not like the school. I mean, Palo, it's like Fremont's the East Bay version. It's between Mission and Irvington, and even American Washington and Kennedy. It's still you've got a lot of stress. So not piling on too much, not letting them be teenagers, not letting them be social. I think that, too many preview courses are a bad idea. Too much test prep can be a bad idea. Or conversely, just having them do nothing except turn into a vegetable and play video games. Like anything, the middle road and a happy medium is always the best way to probably go.
Yeah, I think June has something to say as well. June, anything to add?
Yeah.
What not to do?
So what you're saying what they don't want to do?
What
Or avoid
you
to
should
do?
avoid as parents? What should you avoid to have the high schoolers do? What should they not do?
I see.
Not to play games.
No, my son play games every day. He's he think the class so boring, because I in the ninth grade, I think he start play games. He's the team. Mission has the team for game, so they fight for everyone. I think they went to state because there's so many teams in Bay Area. Then they play. Then whoever win, they go to the state level. Then after state level, they go national. And my son really into it. And Mission San Jose has strong team. I think a lot of kids are, because of that, my son into game design. He want to design games, and he get a lot of presentation. They have Mission has the club for business. So they're creating presentations saying they want to give the best game company a suggestion how to debug them, how to, getting the business better. They get an award on that. So I think the game, depends on the kids. Like I said, some kids is really talented for game, and I don't against game for my son.
I see.
End up, I think he so appreciate me. Yeah. So maybe it's a little bit different to each case. A lot of kids are really addicted too much. Yeah.
Maybe I will paraphrase it in a different way. So it seems like it's important for the parents to help the kids discover the true passion. And then even if it's playing games, it could turn into a positive thing, as long as not addicted to, and find a way to make recognizable. I also want to share one small story about a friend of mine, a personal friend, very, very good friend. His son likes photography. His son likes to, he picked up the hobby of taking pictures during pandemic because there was nothing to do. You cannot travel, you cannot social, right? He took his camera all around in Hong Kong City, and he took pictures of the neon lights and the red cap and the very bright evenings, and then he started to post that on Instagram and Pinterest and other social media. He got noticed, and then a Japanese company found his pictures of photographies and actually buys his photos and to print the photos on the t-shirts and selling those t-shirts for a very surprising price. You're talking about like $100 US per t-shirt. And then he got noticed, and he's on the magazine, on news and magazine interviews as well. So I think both Eddie and Jun hit the point. You have to discover the true passion and do it very, very well, and just not to be addicted like a game. So I think that's all the questions that I prepared so far. I know there are some questions from parents. Now I'm going to open up the question and answer session for the parents. And if you want to ask a question.
So Sylvia, I've been monitoring the questions. There's one that came up early.
Okay.
It says, hi, this is Arun. I'm also a PAC member. It says, should you spend time on certificate courses from online websites like Coursera? Do they help?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, there are only so many singular things that you can do that can really change everything. Like some of the summer programs I mentioned, like RSI or TASP. If you've got that on the resume, that changes everything. Everything else, it's like building a mosaic. It's like building an image. It's building different pieces. Certificate programs are low barrier to entry. There's no grade, there's no credit, but it's showing an interest. It's a little tile in the mosaic, but it's something. So if a student especially has something that's in a niche field like Egyptology, there's not a lot of Egyptology classes out there. You go to Udemy or Coursera, you can do Egyptology until you're blue in the face. But there's just some of the niche stuff that you can get that's more professional development type things. They're going to be available for certificate courses. So again, it's not going to be something that you could ride into Harvard, but it's something that's going to add to the profile.
Arun, do you think the questions was answered?
I think it wasn't from me, but I think that was a pretty reasonable answer. So the way I paraphrase it is, it's definitely a low barrier entry. There's no harm. Definitely go for it, and it's building up your story. So if it's something you're interested in, go ahead and do it online, right?
Yeah.
And build up your story.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sylvia, I think you have the next question already lined up.
Yes, the next questions I have is from Shika. Shika asks, I heard that since the SAT requirement has been removed, the admission rate into UC from Mission San Jose has reduced dramatically. Is that true?
Boy, good question. I would say that the admit rate for computer science from everywhere has been reduced dramatically over the past couple of years. I don't know exactly what the numbers are for Mission. The one thing that the UCs do is they do tend to take students from similar schools one year after another. Could it drop from one year to the next? Yeah. And the other thing is that, it's not going to help to have the SAT requirement removed. I mean, it's a data point that's important that a lot of Mission students are very, very good at. So yeah, I mean, I would say that it wouldn't help. Would it cause the admit rate to drop dramatically? I wouldn't say so, because Mission kids have a lot of other things going on. Like I said, there's 14 criteria that UC used to look at. Now there's 13 criteria. Mission kids are going to be good at everything aside from coming from an underrepresented geographic area.
Great, thank you. I have one question from Rekha. The question is internship at IT companies good for computer science major?
If you're doing something, yes. If you're filing stuff or answering phones, no. So, you're working for Oracle doing coding or debugging, great. If you're doing filing or something like that, then it's not that great. And there's a lot of startups in the area that have students working for them. I think that it's helpful. I think it's good. It gives good stories. It gives it gives another good line item on the resume. It gives good content for the essays. And for computer science majors, you do need the content. A lot of the schools that you're going to be applying to are public. They want to see kids that are going to hit the ground running, go into a direct entry program, and not have to get caught up to speed with the most basic stuff. So a loaded resume, almost like you're applying to graduate school, is almost necessary for computer science. So IT programs, in addition to other stuff. Or IT company internships. Yeah, great. In addition to other things, obviously.
Yeah. Awesome. I know someone from Mission San Jose who got a scholarship, and one of the letter recommendation for the scholarship is from Santa Clara University IT department, and then another one comes from I think it was Apple internship. So they all applied for computer science this year's senior. All
Sure.
right, so I want to see if there's any other questions, and Shuba, if you have anything else to add. We have a few committee members here tonight from PAC. PAC is Parents Advocacy Committee. We have Suli, Arun, Rupa, Shuba, and myself, Sylvia. So I want to open up to everybody for the last two questions.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge Mona is here as well, another PAC member.
Mona, thank you.
But yeah, no, I'm not seeing any other questions in chat. And I also want to be respectful of time. We are past our time for our speakers who've been so generous in sharing so many resources with us. So I really appreciate the takeaways that you have given us, kind of follow the child's lead, help foster meaningful interests, and think about balancing your child's fun and some focused work. I've really learned a lot. So I appreciate you very much, Eddie and June, for sharing. Anyone else have any last questions or comments? Please let us know.
If not, then I am going to say that we will end the session fairly soon. And again, thank you very much, Eddie. Thank you very much, June, for sparing your generous time with us. One last question. What companies offer internship? I think that's a very direct question. What companies offer internships? There will be
For high
a lot.
schools, there's a tough
Yeah,
one.
we offer.
That's right.
Go ahead. You do.
June, go ahead.
Yeah, we can offer, no problem. We have a couple school and love to offer the internship for the student.
Especially
We can
for
have a link.
students, especially for students who are not science major, right? You can offer psychology
Exactly.
major, English literature major, like
Yeah,
history
art major, music major. Yeah, we're really welcome. We have a lot of teacher very talented music, art. So if the student interested on that, my daughter graduated from Berkeley and the graphic design she teach. So if come to our school, you know, she can be also helpful for the student on that, those
Awesome.
kind of thing.
Awesome. Thank you, June. And Eddie, do you want to add some companies who would offer internships?
There aren't, I mean, for high schoolers, it's hard to find them. That's the thing, is that NASA has them, but they're competitive with other with other undergrads. There's a good amount of county internships out there, but paid internships, those can be tough to find, especially for kids that are a little bit younger. You know, usually you're looking at 16 plus. It's a matter of looking for at individual places to find them. Google will offer some high school ones. Apple will offer something. Like I said, NASA will, but they're competitive.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. I know before we wrap up, I would just say that if we have any questions for Eddie and June, how do I contact you guys?
You can give me email. Everybody, give everybody my email. I'm totally, that's all I do all day long. So feel free to give my.
And I'll share that later on. Okay. And June, same email or?
Yeah, we can give out our school email. So they can just direct send. So I'll tell my daughter to check on that. Yeah.
For internship. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Sorry, Sylvia.
Yes.
If you could post your emails in the chat, it might be really helpful to the participants.
Yes, please. Eddie, what's your email?
So I'm putting in there.
Yeah, Eddie is putting his email. So I think parents, you want to write this down in case you have questions about the summer programs. And June, if you want to put your email as well.
Email. Yeah. For the email address.
Sylvia, thank you so much for organizing such an informative panel. Thank you to our speakers again. And please feel free to stay connected with PAC and MPPFA and let us know if there are other topics that you're interested in hearing about. We would love to organize more events like this.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again for all the PAC members for organizing this. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome,
Thank you.
Andy.
Very much,
Always a
June.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, June.
Sylvia, I think you can actually exit participants if you'd like.
Sorry, have a very quick question. What's the best way, because earlier you mentioned that someone is taking notes. What's the best way to get that notes?
So thank you for asking. We'll make sure to share some of the notes through MPPFA's emails, MSJ Talk, and then Sylvia and I can discuss other ways to disseminate it. So if you're connected with MPPFA PAC, we will find a way to get those notes to you.
Yeah, I'm currently not. So that's why I'm asking. This is my first meeting with y'all.
You can contact me later on after this.
Sorry, I cannot hear very clearly.
You can contact me after this meeting. So Jenny,
Oh, okay,
okay, all right.
sounds good. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sylvia, maybe we can close out the Zoom and just connect.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually can't hear you either, so let's leave Zoom and